Hi everyone, today we're going to first begin building a backend for the petty cache. So the instructions we're going to, today I'm just going to build the Node backend. Maybe next time I can do something, but I'll just today focus on JavaScript. So the instructions are here. So we're going to set up an application. So this is pretty much a software development role. So let me just bring up my terminal here. I'm going to go to city work and then just create a project here. So do that deal, petty cache backend node. It's going to be a node application. So cache node, there we go. I'm going to initialize the application. Most of them I'm just going to accept so that we have something to start off with. So there we go. We have ourselves a starting point. So what I am going to do is I'm going to open up an IDE at this point. There we go. I'm going to use the inbuilt terminal to make sure we started off. There we go, petty cache node. So let's begin by installing a few packages we're going to need for this. I'm going to use TypeScript for this. So and Express. So let me begin with things I need for Express. I need Express. I need cause. I need NodeMon to help me boot up a server. TypeScript TS node, TypeScript itself. Maybe body parser. I know. Nope, these ones are going to. That's what I'm going to need for now, and then I'll create some dev dependencies for those as well to support. There we go. Then do the same for some dev dependencies. I know I'll need the types for cause. I know I'm going to need types for express, and those are the two main ones I need. I guess so. Oh, sorry, forgot to put the dependency. Let me see. I've never done this before, so let me see whether that changes anything. Yep, it helps me. Just realigns them. Nice. So I'm going to come in here and create a source. Let me create a folder, and I call it source. And I put in my index file in there, where all my logic is going to go for starting up the server. I'm going to come in here, start up my, there we go, my node instructions. I don't need to put this comma here, it's the only thing in here. And I'm just going to say this is start. Right, so that should cover for that. Next thing we're going to do is install Uniscale as a dependency. So we come here for the instructions, copy that. Oh, sorry, it has been thrown in the wrong place. In the terminal right here, it adds the registry. Then the next thing is install the actual petty cache. Fire that, and we have Uniscale installed as a dependency. So next thing is we come here and begin creating our application. So the first thing I'm going to do is get Express. Next thing I do is get cause. Next thing I do is declare our application. Maybe define the port number. Sorry, 3000, and then begin adding that middleware. Define express in there, and then upload listen on that port. And yeah, I guess isn't this everything we need? Yeah, now closing braces, and yep, we have a simple application here. So let me fire a command. Let me clear the command line, npm run start, and I see whether it starts. Yeah, oh, problems. Okay, so it's just complaining about the module stuff. Okay. So what it requires us to do at this point is to make sure we have a TS config that accommodates all this stuff. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to come here and create another file, tsconfig.json. I'm going to copy some settings I already have up somewhere else, punch them in there, close, and try this again, and it's working. Yeah, this is just configs just to allow it to accept the ECMS script version of that and a few other things here. So that's all we need. So we have a working application. So let me just close this for now, and then we begin importing in Uniscale at this point. So what do we do? What we do at this point is create a file, because I know what that's going to hold our class or functionality. So I'm going to call this I think I call it petty cache. Let me just call it the same and just call it the same name, pettycache.ts. It's going to have all our Uniscale stuff as far as petty cache is concerned. So Uniscale has an extension in a number of IDEs. So there is an extension. We have it in VS Code. We have it in the JetBrains series of IDEs. So yeah, you can get busy. I already have it installed. So for me, all I do is initiate logging in, which will browse me to a different window, which you can't see, but essentially it takes you elsewhere to log in using your account, which I am doing right now. So just give me a second and I log in from that, and then we can so it's currently logged in. So let me just now fire my commands. This is right there with all our two functions. So when I do that, it automatically writes for me code to implement and gives me the instructions as we define them in our documentation. You can see there is a get handler function and tells you what that is supposed to do. It tells you it takes in a date range and it expects to spit out transactions, and it tells you what the type of what this step entails, and tells it's a debit or credit. So you see how the importance of enforcing this in here is at this point. So what we can do, of course, the plugin, it comes with generic names, so it is our role to clean it up. So in this case, I'm just going to call it petty cache service, just to clean it up. just comes with the generic name. Remove this because now it is final. We don't need this. This is for when your service is speaking to other services, and this is a bit confusing for you, so I'm going to replace this with something that may be a bit much easier to understand. So the equivalent of this is the same as saying get transactions, right, and say feature ID. That is much easier on the eye, and the same applies here. So basically we are defining the interceptors for our function. So we had a function called get transactions, we get its feature ID, and we handle it in this method. So same thing here. I'm going to, this was which method was this? New transaction. There we go, new transaction dot feature ID. Same concept. New transaction handle async, and there we have our method done, right? I believe so. So let me first close that. So what's the next item we handle at this point? We plug this in, we begin creating what we call a platform session dispatcher that is going to feed into an endpoint of our choice. So that's what we're going to do. So for just purposes of cleanup, I'm just going to come and do that here. So using the same SDK, I'm just going to opt for a service session or module session. Let me go for module session, and I see what I come up with. Nope, that's not the one I want. I need a service session. I'll share with you where that comes in. Nice. This is what we need, a session builder. So what we're going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to put this in a function. So to just make it that much obvious. So let's come here, get all this stuff we've just copied. Let's create a function and we call it initialize. Nice. And then what this is going to do, let's copy in all our things in here, remove what we don't need. So we don't need all that. We do need, however, we don't need this, but we do need the platform session at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to, because this has been exported, we can get it petty cache and we plug it in. So what we're going to do is come in here and say const. I'm just going to call it a service, new petty cache service. There we go, and we have it. So the method we want to access is setup, and we pass in the builder, which is a platform interceptor builder. So let's do that very quickly, which is this one. This is a platform interceptor builder. For purposes of being explicit, platform interceptor builder. Let me make it like that. So what happens here, it's asking us to handle the intercepting here, but we're already handling the intercepting this side, so we're just going to pull this stuff directly these ends. So what we do here, we just come here and we say service.setup. Oh, it knows what to do. And once you're done doing that, I think this is what we return out. So I don't need even to define this. Let me just say return. And at this point, we have ourselves an initialize. And that is all we need to construct what we need to do at this point. Let me first save that. So the next thing now is to write up let's call it let me make sure this is indented correctly so that it is easier to read. Yep, so the next thing at this point is we're going to come in here, we're going to create an endpoint. The endpoint is going to be API, let me say, and we pass in a feature ID. We don't have to, but for purposes of being explicit with which endpoint we want to attack. This is important for if you're debugging. I'm just putting it there. So at this point, sorry, I do have a Copilot installed, so it tries to suggest, so to make work faster for me, so I'm going to just accept a few things and remove what I don't need. So this session is what is the which I call a dispatcher, what I was calling a dispatcher. So the things we don't need is all this other stuff. So we're going to define our request as that, but the only difference is it's going to be what we call a backend action. Nice. So we can set this to undefined, undefined. And then what we do, we get our session, and there's a function called the accept gateway request, which essentially is going to go in there and route the different feature ID you send through in the request body to the method. So let me just do this. We set it as a string. So do that, and since this is a promise, we're going to do our catching from here. So what I'm going to do is get the response, and we return that. We send the response. You might want to send also a status. That is really up to you. But let me add it in as a 200. And then the error is usually of type result. We have something called result. And then this is also, we also return this response. We send in the error. We are going to mark that as 500. So sorry, we're going to mark that as 500. So let's pass in the status. There we go, 500. And there you have it. Now you have yourself something you can work with. So the back end is here. I've not added any functionality, so right now it's just doing default values. So new is just doing a new, and then this one is just getting sample values. These are important for dummy data. So let's just test this again. At port 3000. So to make this faster, I'm just going to open up Postman. Add a pre-set up Postman here. I'm just going to use a previous request I've done, but this was for a previous example. I have to edit this. Make that 3000 and get let's try and fetch yes, let's try this as well. Get transactions. That's the feature ID. So we're going to get the full name of the feature ID, which you can always get from here. But if you're working with a front end, you don't need to do all this. It's done automatically behind the scenes. So, but since we're using Postman manually, I'm doing this manual. So for now, just bear with that. And then what did the endpoint say it needed? A date range, a start date, which is I'm going to pass in the request body, and an end date, which I'm also going to pass in the body, and then pass in some good dates here. So I'm just going to put some random date. 1010, let me say 2005, and then no, let me just do this version. This might be better. That formatting, people are more familiar with that formatting, and we say 2024, let's say November, let's go with 4th, and we fire that. Oh, we do get an error. So what is the error at this point? It says not found API. So let's look at our this. So it's a bit of debugging. Shush. I think that's the error. Let's clean that up. Fire again, and there we go. So you see, it's returning for me some demi data as far as the response. So that's another bit about Uniscale. In case you don't have a DB and just want to bootstrap, it can generate dummy data, and it can use that as to test out your endpoints. So you can see it has generated an array of transactions, but for now it's just one transaction that just has the item, the amount created at, the ID, and the type. So same for new transaction, you can do the same, and you pass in all these details, amount created at, all this, and return for your success. So all you have to do is hook up a database and just implement it and return. Instead of sample values, you return the actual values from the database here and pass that in. Thank you guys. Yeah, this was a really long video, so I didn't want it to go this far, but yeah, thank you. Have a good day. Hi everyone, hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, subscribe, like, all that, comment, ask questions in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, have a good one.